Okay, so in this video here, we're going to do these type of questions here, where we have to investigate if a point lies inside, outside, or on a circle. Okay, so just before we started, just a bit of revision here. This circle here is in this format here. X squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. So it should be clear now that the center of this circle is on 0, 0. And r squared is equal to 8, so the radius is equal to the square root of 8. Okay, so let's see how we investigate if this point here is inside, outside, or on this circle. So what you do is, very simple, this is the x value, you put that in for x, and this is the y value, you sub that in for y. So if I was to do that, I would have minus 2 squared plus 3 squared needs to be equal to 8. Now I'm getting 4 plus 9 needs to be equal to 8, and I get 13 is equal to 8. So 13 is definitely not equal to 8, so that means it's not on the circle. And because 13 is bigger than 8, it means that this point here is actually outside the circle. So that is our correct answer there. Okay, so let's move on to this one now. Investigate if the point 7 minus 5 lies inside, outside, or on this circle here. Now again, it should be obvious from the equation that the center of this circle is 4 minus 1, and the radius of this circle is 5. Okay, so let's investigate whether this point here is inside, outside, or on the circle. So you do the exact same as we did up here. So I'm going to write out the equation again, but instead of x, I'm going to put in 7 minus 4 squared, plus instead of y, I'm going to put in minus 5 plus 1 squared is equal to 25. 7 minus 4 is going to be 3 squared, plus minus 5 plus 1 is minus 4 squared, and that is equal to 25. And finally, I get 9 plus 4 is 9 plus 16 is equal to 25, and 9 plus 16, so we get 25 is equal to 25. So because this is true and the two numbers are the same, it means that that point there is on the circle. Okay, moving on to the other type of equation. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. So investigate if the point 5, 4 lies inside, outside, or on this circle. Okay, so this is the circle now in the third way we can have it. Okay, so once again, the center of that circle is minus half this number, so it will be minus 1, and half of this one, and change the sign, so it will be 3. And then just remember, to find the radius of a circle in this format, you need to use the formula that I was talking about in the other video, which is g squared plus f squared minus c. Okay, so let's do this question here. Let's investigate if that point there is inside, outside, or on the circle. So you do the exact same thing. That's my x value, that's my y value, so you just sub everything in. So it's going to be 5 squared plus 4 squared plus 2 multiplied by x, which is 5, minus 6 multiplied by y, which is 4, minus 15, and all of that is supposed to be equal to 0. If you calculate all this out, you get 12 is equal to 0. Now, 12 is obviously not equal to 0, so it's not on the circle. Okay, and 12 is greater than 0. So if it's greater than 0, it means it is outside the circle. If you got a number, like let's say minus 7, that's obviously less than 0. So if it was less than 0, it would mean the point is inside the circle. Okay, and then final question I want you to do is this one here. So find the possible values for t so that the point 7t lies inside the circle. Okay, so I want you to try this question here on your own. Pause the video, and then I will do it in a second. Okay, so to do this one here, we want to find the possible values of t so that the point 7t lies inside the circle, this circle here. Okay, so what I would do is I would do the exact same. I know 7 is my x value and I know y is my t value. So I would just put them in here as normal. So it would be 7 minus 4 squared plus y is t plus 1 squared is equal to 25. Okay, now also we want that point there to be inside the circle. So if we want it to be inside the circle, actually that would have to be less than 25. So to do this out then, that would be 7 minus 4 is 3 squared, which is 9. Plus if we square this out, you're going to get t squared plus 2t plus 1 is less than 25. This is going to be a quadratic. T squared plus 2t, 10, that's going to give you minus 15 is less than 0. Okay, if we solve this now, we're going to get t and t, 15 and 2, that's going to be 5 times 3, that's going to be a plus 5, and that will be a minus 3. But now, a little bit of revision, this is a quadratic inequality. So to do this properly, we have to draw a graph. So the roots of this here are going to be t is equal to minus 5 and t is equal to 3. So that's going to be 3 there, that's going to be minus 5. This was covered in 5th year. So this is our quadratic here, it's a happy face. But we want to be less than 0. So we want to get sent down. So it's going to be all of that area there. So my final answer then is, if I want that point there to lie inside the circle, then t will need to be any of these values. So t will have to be less than 3, but it will need to be bigger than minus 5. And that's that.